Hello you guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Melinda J, and I'm here to do part 2 of the College or Not series. So today's topic is going to be about enrollment. Now that you have an idea of what you want to do, but 2, knowing where to go. And I forgot to mention this type of school in my previous video, which will be military school like West Point. That's another option that if you would like to join the military or have some form of military background, West Point is one of the schools that is the top-notch school to go to in regards to that. But of course, this is part 2, so be sure to stay tuned and be sure to watch until the end, because this is very vital information that I feel like all college students, whether you're young or old, that needs to know about. Because trust me, I've been through 6 years through college just from an associate's and a bachelor's, and I feel like this information is very vital for every student that wants to either go for like certifications or for an actual degree. So with that being said, let's get into it. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to this YouTube channel, and be sure to post those notifications, post that bell for the notifications so you can be notified the next time I upload a video. Alright, so let's get into it. So the major points that I want to point out with the enrollment process after you figure out what type of school that you want to go to, whether it's in-state or out-of-state, public or private school, community college or four-year university. Now it's time to enroll. So what you're going to have, or what you're going to be doing when you're enrolling or applying for school, is the next step is for Texas institutions. Like if you want to attend in a four-year university or a two-year college in Texas, well, there is a database called applytexas.org where you can apply there, and it's just a one-stop, literally it's just a one-stop shop where all the institutions as well as community colleges use that database, and you create a profile, and you're able to choose I want to say up to 10 schools that you want to send out the application to. And if not, I know it's like a minimum of 4 to 6 if I'm not mistaken, but I think it's 10, just like how the FAFSA financial aid application does. I have to go back because it's been so long since I did it, and I know I had to walk my brothers through it when they were applying for school. But definitely the website is called applytexas.org when it comes to applying for a university or a community college. That is the one-stop shop, and I promise you that'll save you the headache in regards to having to go to each and every last one of the school websites to apply to there, when you can just go on that database, create a profile, add the schools that you want, pay the fees that the college requires, and go on mind your business. And then as far as like other institutions outside of Texas, I'm pretty sure you have to go on their website to apply there. But I feel like Texas does have an advantage. I don't know if California has that same type of database, but I know Texas for sure has the database where you can create a profile and apply to whatever school you want to attend to in Texas, because there's so many schools. And of course, you'll just act accordingly in regards to applying to the schools that you want to go to in the Texas region, in the Texas state. But for the most part, if you're going out of state and you're going to a school out of state, I'm pretty sure for the most part you have to actually go on the website and apply there. The other point that I want to point out is the application fees. It can range up from free to up to $75 if I'm not mistaken. I think the couple schools that I went to, well, I know some of the schools that my brothers went to, it was at least $25 or $50 for the application. But since you know what has happened, I'm not for sure if they are still waiving the fees or not at this point in regards to applying for the school. But for the most part, there are some colleges that let you apply for free, and there are some colleges that apply that has like an actual cost. Okay, so be free, feel free to set some money on the side, some little change on the side, at least up to $75, to apply for the school that you want to attend to. Now, if it's multiple schools with multiple application fees, yeah, set some money aside for that in regards to applying for the college. Just a little quick tidbit. All right, the next portion that I wanted to point out in regards to enrolling and applying for these schools, for colleges, and whether there's community college or for universities, is your standardized test scores, the SATs and the ACTs, as well as some colleges have the essay entries to attend to that school. I don't know, and this is where the fine line comes into that. In my opinion, I feel like they need to do away with those, because what's the point of the GPA at this point? The GPA is pretty much how the student is going to progress in regards to keeping up their grades, and is literally a glimpse of how the student was during their K through 12 days, and specifically the 9th through 12th high school days in regards to the GPA portion. That literally gives you a snapshot of how the student would progress in your institution, instead of relying on the ACT and SAT scores, because of the fact of the matter, you have kids out there that don't do well on tests like these, because they're not only they're timed, but they're also heavily, you have to read a whole page, probably a whole page and a page and a half. It depends on how long the passage is, especially in the English portion, that you have to read all that, and then you answer about a couple questions, and by the time runs out, you hardly gotten through half of the book. You at least got through half portion of that standardized test. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm a kid that don't do well on time tests, because 9 times out of 10 I'm paying attention of how much time is left over in the testing portion, because I feel like whenever you're taking your test and you know the material, of course you're gonna forget some of the material, but at the same time you want to have time for it to come back to you. And everybody learns differently. You have your auditory learners, you have your visual learners, you have your kinesthetic learners, and you have your written learners. Okay, there's different type of learning styles. Everybody learns different. Everybody processes information differently. Me, I'm a kinesthetic person. I like to see and feel how things operate, and of course, I'm a little bit of everything too, but at the same time, when I want to know the material, I need to make sure that the teacher, the professor, is passionate enough for me to teach the course, because if not, then that does a disservice on me attending your class. Like literally, I had a teacher one time that was like, and I kid you not, it was my Cal 2 teacher, and she was like, if you feel like you're gonna fail this class, you might as well drop out now. Okay, yeah. What a way to start out the semester. You're gonna tell us that information. You know what? I stayed on in that class, and I took the F like a G. I think I made a D up in that class for the most part. But I stayed in that class because that was a commitment to myself to be like, I'm not gonna let this teacher bad talk me down, or the rest of the students talking about, well, if you feel like you're not going to succeed in this class, I suggest you to drop out now. What kind of encouragement is that? All right. So words is power, and you need to pay attention how you approach your kids in regards to teaching your kids, because those things can linger on into a kid's psyche for the long time. Same goes for parenthood. But hello, we can't be having professors and teachers out here that, you know, bad talk students before the semester even start, and you haven't even given them a chance for them to prove themselves in the classroom. You get what I'm saying? That's just a sidebar. But let's continue, because I'm going in a tangent, and I can go on and on about education, because I am a heavily educated advocate for not only for anybody who's in college, but also education from pre-K and up. So again, I can go on and on, but I'm gonna get back into this subject. All right, so yes, be sure to take your ACT and SAT test before you get to the school, because otherwise that's going to delay your entry into the school. However, there are some schools out there that don't even require the SAT and the SAT and the ACT scores. Rightfully so, because they just want you at the college. That's the end goal. They just want you at the college so you can be able to get whatever you need and leave. Okay? So I respect those colleges that do that. And I feel like all colleges need to follow suit at that point. If a college requires an essay, be sure to follow through with that. I never attended or applied to a college that requires an essay. Point blank in the period. Even though I can get down on the essay, I just think you just need to take me as I am with my with my high honor and GPA, and let me show you what I'm made of. Simple as that. Okay. On to the next one. The next point is applying for financial aid and scholarships. Now, to go right back to the applytexas.org for students who are applying to schools in Texas. This is important, and however, it's important to everybody else, but I believe in the texas.org, they mentioned a portion in regards to the financial part. I'm not for sure, but I'm gonna have to look back on my own application just to see what has been updated. Comment down below if you want me to do that. If you want me to do give you a little a snippet of what the website looks like. I'll probably post a screenshot within this video, so just feel free to comment down below if you want to see a little snippet of the website and what to be expected from that. If you're attending schools in Texas, okay? But for applying for financial aid and scholarships, okay, when I went to school, I only had like an opportunity scholarship. I didn't even apply for scholarships like that when I really should have, and that's probably one thing I probably regret, is applying to more scholarships, but it's a learning process, and I'm pretty sure there's more websites and outlets more than ever that allows you to apply for scholarships and grants. Schooly is a good platform to apply for scholarships and grants. However, be wary that majority of the scholarships that you apply to, most of them require 3.5 GPA and community service, which that wasn't a big deal because I surpassed all of those in that portion. But there were some other outlets and trinkets that the foundation that is doing the scholarship required a little bit more, and I was like, okay. But for the most part, applying for federal student aid. Now, from what I have heard, that not a lot of kids, not a lot of people is aware of this website, which is kind of crazy to me. But if you want to apply for federal student aid, you will apply at this website. It is called studentaid.gov, and it's a free application where you apply for a student aid on the federal level. Okay, and far as like how you qualify, it'll give you a little glimpse at the end on what you could qualify for, like the unsubsidized and subsidized loan, and some grants along the way. For foster care students, I believe they go to school for free, if I'm not mistaken. And of course, if students are independent, as far as like if they have a deceased parent or one or two, both parents, and they're on their own, I'm pretty sure they qualify for grants as well. That's just a little sidebar, but that's what I've encountered. And when you're doing this application, of course, they're going to ask you for, if you're 18 and younger, you're probably more be a dependent, so to speak. So you'll be sure to have your parents' tax returns, and it goes back 2 years on the tax returns. Compared to when I was in school, they went back a year. So now they go back 2 years on your returns. If you're applying for the 2022-2023 year, you're going to be looking for, well, they're going to be looking for the 2020 tax returns, if I'm not mistaken, because that's back 2 years. Yeah, the 2020 returns. They're going to be looking for the 2020 returns. So be sure whenever you're filling out this free application at studentaid.gov for federal student aid, be sure to have your parents' tax return from 2020. And if you worked and you filed taxes in 2020, be sure to have that on hand as well, because that is one of the things they're going to ask for. And they're going to give you money based on the income and GPA, as far as like the school portion. And while you're doing this application, you can choose up to 10 schools to add on to your student aid application to send out. That way, if one fails, then you have others that you can rely on, as far as like going through the finishing the enrollment process and getting into the school, getting registered in school. So you have up to 10 schools to put on the applications. And of course, I did say it's depending on the parent's income in regards to giving you a glimpse of how much you could possibly get. And also gives you the retention rate on each school that you apply to as well. I think those are good glimpses of how the school retains and maintains the school population. And the graduating rate, it also has a little snippet of that as well. Okay, and after you filled out your application, be sure you make an account and you after you create that account, be sure to keep that handy at all times. Especially if you continue to go back to school, please keep that on handy, because it'll save you the heartache of trying to reset the password and all that other stuff. And after you filled out the application, be sure to fill out the entrance counseling and the promissory note, because if you don't fill out those two before you get, of course you can always get rewarded of what the school is going to give you for like financial aid wise. But if you don't do the entrance counseling and the promissory note before you you can always accept the award, but you're not going to get the money, the refund, until you do the entrance counseling and the promissory note. Promissory note is just like an agreement that you are aware of what you're getting and that you're going to pay the money back whenever you finish college. And the entrance counseling is just giving you it's like a walkthrough of understanding the interest rates, understand what you're getting, the financial portion of the college financial portion. There you go. It's a walkthrough of the financial portion, giving you, and it's going to quiz you along the way. But however, even though it's quizzing you along the way, it also, the answers is still within the paragraph and these quick notes that you're reading. So you can't necessarily fail it unless you just don't care. And yeah. And the information is there for you to pass the entrance counseling. Overall, it's just making sure you understand the what you're getting, the interest rates, and so forth and so on. That way you can be able to get the money and utilize it however you want to utilize it. And after you do those two things, then you can of course accept your award and that the school has given you, far as like financial aid wise. And by the time the refunds come out, you'll get your refund. But be sure to fill out the interest counseling and the promissory note. Now, there are some schools that there are schools that are going to have the parents fill out the Parent Plus loan. So if you are attending one of those schools where you have to fill out your parents have to fill out the Parent Plus loan in order for you to get enough money to maintain yourself within the semester, you have to do it. Otherwise, just withdraw and go to another school that doesn't require your parents having to do a plus loan. And yeah. So that's another thing to look out for whenever you're applying to school, is to look out and ask questions in regard, does the parent has to fill out a Parent Plus loan? If so, run for the hills. Run for the hills, okay? Run for the hills. If so, and if you're adamant of attending to that school, be sure to notify your parents that they have to fill out this Parent Plus loan, so it can be enough or more than enough for you to get something in return for you to survive on college campus. Okay. Let's see. And of course, be sure to specify whether you're full-time or part-time. Yes, there is a difference on whether you are going for full-time and part-time. If you're going for part-time, more than likely you're going to be paying something out of the pocket if you're going for part-time and you can't afford the whole tuition. But if you're going full-time, that helps as well, as far as like getting financial aid and of course the scholarships. That's if you qualify for any scholarships. That's it on that financial aid portion. However, lastly on the financial aid, and this is in regards to graduating. Before you graduate, they're gonna have you do the exit counseling for the financial aid portion on the same website, studentaid.gov, and you're gonna do the walkthrough again of exiting the financial counseling portion, and that is that consists of it consists of knowing the amount that you got to pay back, and of course it's going to introduce you to the interest loans and how it can build up over time if you don't notify the collectors in regards to whether you want to go on income based repayment or just repayment by default. So be sure upon graduation on the financial aid portion, fill out the exiting counseling. All right. Now the next big pointer is transcripts. Be sure, I think this is the last point. Yeah, this is the last point. Okay, the last point is transcripts. Be sure to make sure your school sends out your transcripts in time whenever you are applying for the schools that you're going to, because it is definitely going to delay the process of being accepted into the college. I think that should have been number one besides applying to the school. So yeah, the transcripts, it needs to be right after you fill out the application for the school. Right after you fill out the application, make sure your transcripts are going to the schools that you want to attend or plan to attend, because that is going to delay the process. And if you feel like they slow poking around, I highly advise you all to stay on their necks in regards to sending your transcript, because I promise you it is definitely going to delay the process of you being accepted into school, and it's definitely going to set you back from registering to get into those courses and so forth and so on. So again, transcripts after you don't, and you know what, I suggest y'all to do this before y'all walk across that stage in graduation in high school, is to make sure your transcripts are being sent out. Even though the official is probably not going to happen until a couple days after, I would just go to that office at least a couple of days out of the weeks before you walk across that aisle and be like, hey, please make sure my transcript get to the colleges I want to, so I can get first dibs on the classes that I want to get into. Otherwise, you're gonna be out I'm not gonna say you could be out of luck, but you're gonna be getting the leftovers of the classes that you are going to register for your freshman year in college. Okay, so again, let's do a replay. Okay, whenever you're enrolling, you're gonna apply. You're gonna apply to whatever school you want to go to. If it's in Texas, go to applytexas.org. Okay, secondly, you're gonna get your transcripts. Be sure they are sent out to the schools that you want to go to. 9 times out of 10 they will send it electronically, but if it's done by mail, get it ASAP. And of course I would advise you to get one for yourself personally. That way whenever you go to school and they say they ain't got it, you have one on hand. Okay, third is making sure you have your application fees whenever you are filling out the application, because I don't know if they are still waived or they reinstated them. Fourth, be sure to make sure your ACT and ACT scores are sent to the schools that you want to attend to, as well as essays. Make sure you get those essays done. Fifth, apply for financial aid and scholarships. You can apply to there is one website where you can apply to that I know of, that is Schooly, for scholarships. For financial aid, federal student aid, you're gonna go to studentaid.gov and you're gonna fill out that free application. Along with filling out that free application, make sure you have those 2020 tax returns on hand. And if you're viewing this video after 2020 after this date, be sure to have the tax returns that are 2 years prior. so you can be able to fill out that financial aid portion and after doing that, go ahead and start on that entrance counseling and that promissory note, so you can be able to get your refund after you accepted the award from the school. And if you're graduating, make sure you fill out that exiting counseling. That way you are aware of what you're being owed whenever you make payments on your student loan. Okay. And lastly, wait for the acceptance letter. All right. So I hope this was good information for you. Please sure to feel free to comment down below on what else you would like for me to talk about in regards to college life. And don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the video. Share. Sharing is caring, y'all. And of course, hit that notification bell so you'll know the next time that I will upload a video. And I'll see y'all guys in part 3. Y'all stay tuned because this is good information. All right, sharing is caring. All right, see y'all guys in the next video. Bye.